The Lightshark is a cross-platform lighting controller that allows you to simply and easily be able to walk up, program, and be running a show very quickly, but with complexity as well. The Lightshark is different from other software consoles because it runs the software on your console itself, in this case, the LS-1, and then you use a tablet or computer to dial into the network and control the console. The great thing about this is that even if your computer crashes, goes into software update, or your tablet dies, the show keeps running on the Lightshark hardware. In fact, they designed it for this. There's even this great little tablet holder built right into the console that'll hold your tablet while you program. The Lightshark consoles, whether the LS-1 or LS Core, come with 8 fully unlocked DMX universes. So from the day you get your first Lightshark, you have all 8 universes fully unlocked. No add-ons or licenses to buy. In this video, I'm going to show you guys the hardware of the LS-1 console and show you what it includes. Then we're going to dive into the software and give you a brief overview of how the Lightshark works, how to connect with it, and how to begin programming your first show. Then, in the rest of the video series, we're going to dive into the software, and working with the visualizer, we're going to show you how to program inside of the Lightshark and go deep into the various features it offers. So with that, let's dive into the hardware. The LS-1 console has 3 main areas on the control surface. The first is the playback area. This consists of a Grandmaster fader with blackout button, 10 playback faders with 10 flash buttons, play buttons, and selector buttons. There are also up to 30 pages of these faders accessible within the console. You can switch pages by using these page buttons located on the left side of the console. To the right of the playback section is the master playback buttons. These allow you to control the selected playback with play, pause, skip forward, skip backward, and release or deactivate buttons. Across the top here we have our Q section. The Q section allows you to edit, update, delete, copy, move, set, and fan. We'll go over those later. And also includes 4 parameter wheels to control the parameters that are on the console's display. This brings us to the display area. First, we have our display screen, which will show our parameters and our selected fixtures or groups. Then, our fixture and group toggle button, as well as next and previous. These 3 buttons allow you to select fixtures and move within the selections that you've made inside the Lightshark. On the right side, we have our different parameter selector buttons. These buttons are used to control the different parameters that your lights have, such as intensity, position, beam, color, and effects. Under the display, we have Find, which is useful for finding your fixtures when you first selected them. Clear, which clears out the programmer with a single press. And Record, which is the button we press when we're ready to record a cue, group, or palette into the Lightshark. On the back side of the console, we have Kensington locks, here and here, a 3-pin 5-volt XLR plug for a desk lamp, 2 DMX outputs, each offering both 5 and 3-pin DMX. However, please note that these are not a DMX splitter, so only use either the 3-pin or the 5-pin port, but not both at the same time. Next, there is an Ethercon and Ethernet network port for ArtNet, SACN, and connection to the console's control via a wire. There's 2 USB ports. One is for data, and one is strictly for powering a tablet that you may be using in the Lightshark. The Wi-Fi antenna for controlling the console wirelessly, and then the power switch and the PowerCon True 1 input to get power into the console. To power up the LS-1, simply turn on the power switch on the back panel, and momentarily you'll see the console come to life. First you'll see a loading screen, and then in a minute we'll see the console's main display on the LCD screen. As the console boots up and we see the main display, at first it says SSID none, but then it switches to your console's unique name and IP address, so you know the network is live. Now we can go ahead and connect to the console via a computer or tablet. The default network name is Lightshark, followed by some letters and numbers, and the default password is SharkJaws. Once you've logged in successfully, you'll want to change the network password in settings from the default so that your show is secure. On our tablet, we're going to select the network that matches our console. It's called Lightshark and has some letters and numbers after it. Refer to your particular console's display screen to see the name of your console's network. The default password from the factory is SharkJaws, but please change this password to make your console secure. Once you do get connected, your tablet or device may let you know that there's no internet available, and it might not be happy about that, but don't worry, just dismiss that warning. You'll be able to connect to the console just fine. Now we're going to go ahead and launch our web browser. We're going to go to 2.0.0.1 or lightshark.work. Either of these will take you directly to the Lightshark's interface. When we first dial in, we see a loading screen. Now to get Lightshark full screen, there's one more step we're going to do. We're going to go in our web browser. I'm using Chrome. Go to our menu here and press Add to Home Screen. Perfect. Then it comes up with an icon and a name. You can name it whatever you'd like, but Lightshark works great. And press Add. Now if we go to our home screen, we'll see we have an icon for Lightshark. We can press it and we'll get Lightshark at full screen. On iOS it works the same way. You'll connect to the Lightshark network using the password SharkJaws, or hopefully the password that you've changed it to. Then go back to Safari or another web browser. Head to 2.0.0.1 or lightshark.work, let the console load, and then press this box with the arrow coming out of it. Now we can scroll over on this bottom list till we see Add to Home Screen. Then we're able to name our icon and press Add. Now we see Lightshark on our home screen, and just like in Android, we can click on that and we're going to get a full screen Lightshark interface. Now we're going to head over to the computer and I'm going to show you around the user interface and go over the basic functions of Lightshark, both on the computer and on the console itself. In the Lightshark interface, there's a number of windows that are essential to the operation of the Lightshark. At the top here, we have the palettes, virtual playback, cue list, executors, and program/output windows. The palettes window is where we are going to select our groups or fixtures via this graphical interface. Or we can use a number pad to select fixtures as well. I'll go over this after we patch some fixtures. On the right side of the palettes window, we see our parameters, palettes, as well as a third window which allows us to graphically adjust our parameters. Our various parameters are shown here on the right sidebar. As we scroll through our parameters, we can do it either on the console or on the screen, and we see that as we switch between different parameters, they switch both on the button highlights on the console and on the screen. When you're working in the Lightshark, if you're on an LS-1, the buttons that light up on the console are also always going to light up on the screen. Similarly, we have our blackout and then our cue section, and all these keys light up on the screen when you click them either on the screen or on the console, and vice versa. Here in the playback window, we're able to see 10 playbacks here, and then we can scroll side to side to be able to get to all 30 playbacks. As you can see, they're labeled in 3 banks, and so we can actually switch between these 3 banks with these buttons on the side. Let's first go to the preferences. If we head back to our palettes window and then go to our three-dot main menu here in the upper left-hand corner, we can see our critical system functions. First of all, this is where we'll load, save, or create new shows inside of Lightshark. We also have access to the patch, file manager, and the ability to shut down and restart the console. System preferences are down here in the right corner. In the preferences menu, we have a number of preferences that we're able to go through. First is the user preferences. We're able to adjust various preferences, set our startup defaults, whether we want to continue the last show file or start new when the console restarts, and adjust our clear mode. This is whether we want the console to clear out normally or to zero completely when we press the clear button. We can also set the console's time and date here on the right side. Make sure to press apply once you're done. Inside of DMX Setup, we're able to set up our console to output ArtNet or SACN, and then press apply. Once we press apply, if we do want to change any of our networking settings, we will need to restart the console. We can also reduce the DMX output rate if necessary to reduce flickering on fixtures that can't handle full speed DMX. Then, in the Network Setup tab, we're able to see our Ethernet. If it's plugged in, it will populate right here. Our DMX streaming IP address for ArtNet or SACN, and then our wireless. This is the network that we use via our tablet or computer to wirelessly connect to the Lightshark and control the user interface. It's enabled by default, and you're able to change the network name, password, and 2.4 gigahertz channel right here. We recommend right away going in here and possibly changing the network name, but most definitely changing the password. Remember, by default, it's SharkJaws, but you need to change it to something that works for you, and then write it down somewhere so you don't forget. To apply these settings, press apply, and then you'll be able to press yes to reboot the console. Let's dive into the patch. To close the menu, we press the exit key in the upper left-hand corner, and now we're going to click on that three-dot menu again and head over to the patch screen. The first screen that we see is the patch window, and there's nothing in it right now because we haven't patched any fixtures. We can go to Add Fixtures and then select from any fixtures in the fixture library. Here at the top, it shows my most recently used fixtures, but I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go over to M, go to Martin, and then here at the bottom, I can pick out the model also by the letters. I'll go back to MNO, and then I'll grab a Mac Axiom Hybrid and set the mode to mode 1. Now I can select the amount of fixtures that I'd like to patch using the plus and minus keys. I'll patch 4, and at that point I can press patch. Now, if you want to, you can also go ahead and switch the advanced key on, and you're able to change the universe, start channel, and offset as you wish. The offset can leave a channel gap between patched fixtures. So if your fixtures aren't patched right after each other, but rather have some sort of a uniform gap between them, you can patch them quickly by entering that gap here in the offset. Press patch. Once you see the success message, patch done, you're ready to go. You can go here to the patch fixtures options and see the fixtures here by ID. Here in the patch window, we can see the fixture ID number, the type, the universe and address, and then we're able to invert the pan, tilt, and shutter as needed. When you invert them, you see that the outline changes to red to let you know that you've inverted that fixture. Now, let's go ahead and exit our patch using the exit key in the upper left-hand corner. We can see we now have a group, and if we select that group, we see we have control over the fixtures we just patched here in the parameter side of the window, which corresponds with the parameter wheels and screen on the LS1. Here, because we're in the intensity parameter control group, we have intensity and shutter on our encoders. And These 4 fields right here line up perfectly with the encoder wheels on the LS1. So I can turn the encoder wheel and modify the corresponding value on the console's encoders or on your computer or tablet screen. But I can also click and drag here to change those values as well. Another thing that you may find interesting, I'll press clear first to clear out my programmer, is here in the fixtures window. I'm able to go ahead and select fixtures individually in any order that I want. Or, one cool trick here in the fixtures window is that you can select the first fixture and then double select the last fixture of a range that you want to select, and all the fixtures in that range will select automatically. Now we can see if we have these 4 fixtures selected and we switch to the Groups tab, the group that contains those 4 fixtures is also selected whether we selected it first from the group or the fixtures. Like I mentioned earlier, you can also select your fixtures. If I clear here, go to my number pad by typing 1 through 4, for example. Then I can see I've selected those 4 fixtures via the number pad. Here in the parameters, it's also worth noting that there's a fine control adjuster that allows you to get very sensitive control of the parameters. So you see here the intensity is moving very slowly, but if I turn off fine, it moves much faster. This is useful when you need that precise control of a particular attribute on stage. You can just flip that fine control on and get the control that you need. Under the palettes, we're automatically going to see auto-generated palettes for some parameters, such as gobo and also color. This allows us to use the built-in colors and gobos and auto-generated mixed colors for fixtures that are able to color mix. Here, we can also access the effects. Across the top, we see the different types of effects that we can create, and then we're able to select a specific effect and dial it in here on the console. In the rest of this video series, we're going to show you how to start from connecting your computer via Ethernet and build your palettes, groups, and effects inside the Lightshark.